All right. All right, what's up, everybody? This is Chris Max from OM53. And today we have a special guest. We have, I guess, this is our debut. I don't even know if this is a podcast, but whatever it is that we're doing, this section of our YouTube channel where we get to know some of our peers, Christian artists that are inspiring us and doing things that we think are really, really cool. So today we have Eluzai.
Yo, what's good?
I said that right? Eluzai?
Yeah. So funny enough, a lot of folks. It's interesting to hear what folks come up with 6 letters. So, but yeah, no, you got it.
Cool. So, dude. Well, first of all, thanks for being here. We've never really spoken before this, besides just DMing you and being like, dude, you know, you've inspired us in some way and we'd love to get to know you. Would you be down to be on our, little podcast thing?
Yeah. When you say it out loud, it sounds kind of funny. It's just like, yeah, some random guys just, texted me. It's like, hey, you want to drive like an hour out into New Jersey and just like talk on a podcast? I'm like, shoot. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it. Yo, and you know what the crazy thing is? Because when I hit you up, I was like, yo, we'll do it remote, right? And then you were like, in person or remote? And I was like, in person would be epic, but remote would be fine. Mm-hmm. And you're like, all right, I'll drive. So it was yeah.
I'm local. I literally just did a road trip from Connecticut, so this is nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fine. But dude, it's cool to be here.
Yeah, and you're from Philly. You've always been in Philly.
Yeah, I was born in Philly, grew up there for a couple of years, and then half the people in Philly end up moving into Bucks County, so that's where I'm stationed at right now. But I'm so close to the city. I'm practically still there.
Yeah, I love Philly until I got a $350 parking ticket. From there on, I did not like Philly anymore.
Oh man, bro, it's like a rite of passage. I remember clenching my fists, white knuckling, because I supposedly blocked a trash can and I got hit with an $85 fine, which is it makes you rethink taking the train. I'll say that much.
Yeah. So what happened to me was I went on a date, right? As you do, if you're in Jersey, you go to the city or wherever you want to go. But every once in a while, you'll drive an hour and 20 minutes to Philly, which is not bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I parked. It was like 5 inches, into a handicap. Like it was just like this little much. But I was parked on a regular parking spot. But because I passed like by a few inches, I came back and they were like, "Yeah, well, you were there." And I was like, "Oh, so like no one could park in the handicap one." And they were like, "Well, you're not supposed to be there." And I was like, "Okay, well, I don't have the time or the PTO right now to argue this and keep going back and forth to Philly to fight this. So I had to pay that plus whatever else online fee.
It sucks. Yeah. Oh, 100%. That's why whenever I visit Philly, I'll drop off anybody that I'm like tagging along with me, and then they'll like call me 10 minutes later. It's like, hey, are you okay? It's like, I'm finding a parking spot. I am not risking it. I will park 13 blocks away.
Yeah.
I'm not dealing with this.
Yeah. So Max, all the way in Wichita. Dude.
Sir.
So you guys have spoken before and Eluzai. Well, Eluzai, what's your name, first of all?
Oh, so my real name's Ludwig, which is, I think, God's sense of humor.
That's fire.
To kind of push me into the whole music thing. My brother and I were named after famous Germans, and funny enough, he's named Albert, so he's the smarter one.
God, I've never met Ludwig before, like in person.
Funny enough, in the spaces that I kind of hung around when I first started really making music, it ended up being a detriment because I was a dude with long hair making weird hip hop, and Gambino's producer was also named Ludwig, and we were a part of a fan page for it on Facebook. Yo, there were some dudes in there. I don't know what was going on, but they were just like, "Yo, you can't just be here. you can't just be named Ludwig and be here. It's like, bro, I didn't even know this. You're putting me onto information I didn't know. So, okay, that's cool, I guess. But yeah, yeah, no. So real name's Ludwig, but kind of felt the need to pick a different name
Cool.
when I really started doing this.
Cool. So we'll talk a little bit more about your walk. We'll talk about your faith, your music, all that kind of stuff to get to know you. But Max, all the way in Wichita. So for the people that don't know, Max is my other half in this project, and it's crazy because we are, I don't even know how many hours apart. It's enough hours that the time zones are different.
Mhm.
So
Enough to fly. It's too far to just take a road trip from Kansas to Jersey. You gotta fly.
how long? How long is that drive? It's got to be like
10 to 12, I believe.
What's Chris? What town do you live in?
New Jersey. Just
Oh.
doxed myself. Got him.
No, correct.
We'll cut that out. That is a 20-hour drive.
20 hours.
God, yeah, nah, yeah, no one's driving that.
That's gnarly.
Yeah, and is that with tolls? Just kidding.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Turnpike. No, I'm cool off of that, bro. I'm cool.
So, a little bit about you. How did you get into music?
Oh man. Which chapter do you want to open up? Because
From the beginning, how did it start? Like,
Gosh. Well, I grew up classically trained as a pianist and a cellist, which is kind of a funny way to sort of start this whole journey. But my parents kind of put me through it as like a sign of discipline. Not a sign, like a lesson in discipline.
Mhm.
And I kind of hated it. And looking back at it, I'm actually so grateful for it because it helped me sort of make my way through a lot of the production and music creation habits that I have now. My brother put me onto a lot of weird experimental stuff on the side because my parents' taste in music was very quite literally foreign because they immigrated to
Mhm.
America. So he was the guy that kind of put me on to, my boom bap phase, with Wu-Tang and Nas and stuff, and then experimental things and the rock. So it wasn't until middle school and high school that I started messing around with like, making beats. And then shortly after, when I rededicated in high school, is when I just started rapping for as an artist and as part of ministry.
Cool.
Yeah.
And when would you say was like the moment that you knew like you wanted to do like music, right? Like you're like, all right, I want to do this as an artist.
Pretty early on, actually. I vividly remember getting into my mom's car and I'll never forget the day. I looked her dead in the eyes and I said, "Hey mom, I think I want to pursue music as like my full-time thing and maybe even do a ministry out of it." And she looked at me and it's like, no, you're not doing that. You absolutely not. You think of something else.
Ludwig, you're not doing this.
Ludwig, you're not doing this. Is very bad. Become a car salesman. Do anything else.
Hit a different bottom.
At least make some money while you're doing it. No, that was like 2013, 2014. Full time though, I've mainly been full time as an artist for about 5-6 years now at this rate, which is a blessing. It truly is God's blessing that I get to just do
Full-time artist. The only thing you do,
correct,
is music. That is fire. That is what we are aspiring, for. But that's obviously
straight up
in God's time, if that's what God has for us. But super happy for you. So as far as like your faith, did you grow up in the faith?
Yeah, so definitely grew up in a Christian household, but my parents, strangely enough, they kind of had a hands-off approach. They would take me to church and obviously talk to me about God and stuff, but they didn't really pressure me in many ways. They kind of just allowed me to just sort of grow with God in my own way. And it was again in high school. I really just kind of rededicated out of fear because the high school I went to at that time was a Baptist high school. And if you know anything about teaching regimens on those basis, it's pretty intense. I specifically remember being in a class, and I kid you not, The class was a study on the book of Revelations. If you are slightly shaky in faith, you are going to figure out immediately which side you're on in that class.
Yeah.
So I tore off a part of my composition book, literally the cardboard backing, and then I wrote down the day. It's like, this is the day I'm saved. This day, let there be no doubt about it. I received Christ into my life.
Here's the receipt.
Yeah. The transaction.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Max, take it away, bro.
Yeah, that's really interesting. So I went to a Baptist church for a long time, so I know like exactly the kind of teaching that you're talking about. So I guess to kind of segue back from faith into music stuff, like I found you through Stomping Demons on Instagram when that was first blowing up.
Yes.
That was kind of one of my reintros to CC or to Christian music that isn't CCM. Because for a long time, like I got really jaded with CCM, and I kind of looked elsewhere for the music. I still don't listen to a ton of CCM. So that song kind of seemed like it was what really like started stuff for you as far as like mainstream notoriety on social media.
Yeah.
What's the story behind that song?
So Stomping Demons was a very interesting case. At that point, I had been like a year or two deep into working on, funny enough, memes. So I kind of had a schedule going on where I would make video game like lo-fi covers and produce lo-fi music, make memes, and sort of pair the two. And I think that really worked out well. I ended up dropping like an album of covers, and praise God, that was what was able to actually finance my wedding. And so
wow.
Nuts. Yeah. There was specifically a track on there that had like gained traction overseas in Japan. So I was just like, I had nothing to do with that. That's all God. But,
Yeah.
In that season, I was kind of trying to figure out what I was going to be doing next. And because I was working so much in the meme circuit, I call it, on TikTok, I ended up coming across specifically a meme of a gentleman working like this, those like electronic kids books that you kind of like put the pen to. Yeah. So he had found one. He started beatboxing over it, and I thought like that's really hilarious. Also, this instrumental sounds really awesome. Let me sample that real quick.
Was that like that brass sample?
Yes.
That beat?
Yes.
Tight.
And that I did end up getting the guy's blessing, the guy that originally posted it, because when it's real easy just to kind of take things online and then just make anything out of it. But I did end up getting his blessing, and I released it, and that sort of started the next phase of like my career going into it, because my whole thing was like, it's a killer sample, and I have a blank slate to what I want it to be about. And the first thing that came to mind was like, well, if it really pumps people up, let's get people amped up to reject evil. So Stomping Demons.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's tight. So what was the transition between like the lo-fi world and like the video game cover world into like the fusion of like Memphis hip hop and like the SoundCloud hip hop stuff? Like,
so I had found a lot of like solace and comfort in the lo-fi world, and that actually became a detriment because I was kind of trying to play 50-50. So in 2023, I had a deal, and I won't name any names, but basically I had a deal that was going to basically skyrocket me into like the lo-fi, specifically video game lo-fi scene, and I would have been comfortable. And I was sidetracking everything that God wanted me to do, because it's just like my hip hop influences are eclectic. It's kind of weird, underground, niche. I don't know if I'm supposed to focus on that right now. And in trying to do stuff 50-50, God silenced me for a whole year. I was not able to write a single lyric for a year. And at first I thought it was just standard like creative block.
Yeah.
And then it kept going on for months. And I'm like, is something wrong with me? And then at one point, and I want to say it was like September, like October or November, basically at the latter half of the year, he uplifted off of that me, and I was visibly shaking. Like I was freaking out. And I felt like that whole block was gone for me. And he sort of just let me know, it's like, hey, we don't do this 50-50. I gave this to you. I need you to trust me, and I need you to go all in, but you have to give up all the stuff, like all the lo-fi, all these deals. And so I had to politely decline them. I had to basically shelve all my plans for like my next cover album and stuff like that. And just to the wall, just slam it and try to use all the weird influences and ideas that I had, you know, from underground boom bap and, you know, like this weird SoundCloud Memphis style, and create something out of it. At that exact moment, I had somehow came across a reel from Afterthought, completely by chance. Well, not by chance, but completely by God. And I'm like, this is very similar to the style I was thinking about working in. This is very similar to the style that like I was thinking maybe I should go in. Okay, so there's other people out here that's doing that. Maybe I should, you know, not maybe, but let's give this a shot. And I posted first reel.
Boom.
Folks in my comment section, folks in his comment section were adding us. So we got connected, and I'm like, hey man, I appreciated like the stuff that you did. Thank you for like kind of helping, it encouraged me in this, I mean, he didn't do it actively. It just like by, the grace of God and, the Holy Spirit talking. Do you want to work on this track that I ended up posting a reel about? And he's like, yeah, let's do it. And that was Fear No Evil. And that was Fear No Evil. And that was God's affirmations. Like, I'm going to take care of you. I just need you to trust me, and I need you to be obedient in this. And 2024 was like the whole, like, not rigmarole, but like the whole thing of just like, yeah, okay, God's tight.
Bro, that's so encouraging. And I also found you through one of those reels, and I was like, what is this? Like, I was like, this is so fire.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's so interesting when God puts us like in front of like I always think of like we're walking in a hall, and there are all these doors, right? All these doors where like God opens doors, right? And a lot of the times, I mean, I don't know how theologically correct this is, but I think a lot of times God opens doors, not necessarily for us to like walk into the rooms, but for us to see what's in the room, right? And he lets us like see what's in the room. And a lot of people like me, like Max and I always talk about how like we're different. But for me, sometimes I'll just like, I'll walk in the door just to like look in the room and be like, hey, sick room. Should I be in this room, God? Right? But like, I'll walk in the room. I'll walk in the room just to like look around. But like, God wants us to like stand in front of the door and be like, yo, God, like, should I go in there? Or should I just keep walking? Right? And it's so difficult to not walk in these rooms. But, as you said, like that, the opportunities you had to keep going, right, with your stuff. And like God sometimes makes it very clear. He's like, yo, it's either all or nothing, right?
Yeah. And the one that really interesting aspects that to go back to Afterthought and I, we both actually were working in similar industries, and we both had to give it up because we felt encouraged and led by God to get out of that and use our gifts for his kingdom. Like God blessed us through the ability to be in those spaces and to like grow in it, but we weren't allowed to like make the settlement there. We had to move out of there.
Yeah.
It was a place that we kind of cruise through, but we don't stop.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to see how God builds you up by not only, blessing, but taking and sort of leading you to the next chapter. Hence the rooms and halls.
The rooms and halls, yeah. And like, I mean, I think one of the things that we get wrong as Christians is thinking that our walk with Christ is like adding things like, oh, like what does my walk with Christ need? Right? Like maybe if I do more of this or I do more of that, and it's like Max and I talk about this like an additive like relationship. but most of the time it's a subtractive thing. Like it's a purification, like of like bringing us to holiness. Like God is like, oh, let me take that off, let me take all that off, and all of a sudden you like feel like lighter, but like you thought you had to do all these things to, you know, walk in his will for you.
Man, I couldn't have said it better myself.
One of the things that I've been told that I really appreciate, my mom was a worship pastor for about 5 years, and she's one of my like biggest sources of wisdom when I'm like trying to figure stuff out. And she always says to keep open hands, because sometimes things need to be lifted out of your hands so that things can be put back into them. And so just like that idea of like, if you're sitting here like this, you're holding out what you have. Sometimes God is going to take things out, but he's also taking things out so that he can put what he wants to right back in your hands.
Yeah.
This is a sermon, fellas. This is good.
Yeah, facts. So now you have 3 instrumental albums, right? Or more?
Yeah, oh my gosh, let's think. Off the top of my head, yes, because there was like the covers one, and then I had some smaller lo-fi instrumental projects, because I was big into like the whole New Jabez, like early SoundCloud days, and you know, peak SoundCloud days of just like making lo-fi and stuff. So there's probably a ton of other mixtapes and projects there that I don't care to remember. But yeah, so I had quite a few of those, and I was basically just grinding stuff out for a year to really work on this debut album that just dropped, St. Jawn.
What a debut album.
Yeah.
What a debut album, bro. Like
freaking nuts.
Like, not, you know, we always talk about like numbers like don't matter like that, like all glory to God, but again, like all props to the dude that works, and you worked your butt off on that, so mad props for amazing work.
Oh man, it's all God, bro, because it's not even like don't get me wrong, the numbers are great, they really are, but like it's the way that God speaks through the Holy Spirit to folks that I never met. I mean, like hello, I did not meet you guys until today. And then, you know, I just get to hear like testimonies and just like witnessing of folks just like, man, God spoke to me through this, God spoke to me through that. I had a gentleman that apparently he heard specifically like encouragement through every line in like Guillotine, where it's just like, bro, when you said this, that reminds me about my brother getting robbed that week, and I'm just like, how the frick? I couldn't have planned that. So
yeah.
All right, God. Okay.
Yeah, dude, it's a thing. Like, for example, in 2022, we were at a festival that we played in, I don't remember if this was PA or Massachusetts. One of those two.
Before me. This was
before him. Because this
doing other stuff.
This used to be a band. OM53 started. We were a 4-piece band.
Oh, wow.
It's a whole other story, which I'll tell you another day. But yeah, Max is an answered prayer to me almost quitting this whole thing.
Oh wow.
But the point is, we were we used to play open up for like We the Kingdom, like Newsboys, like Colony House, like all these like bigger bands. So we were at the meet and greet of one of these festivals, and like there's all these people lined up to come say hi to us, and then this guy just shows up and he is bawling. He's just like bawling, and we're like, we don't know how to react in that moment, but we're like, all right, like, you know what's going on. And he's like, I just want to like say thank you to you guys for like the music that you make, because I hated God for like 3 years because my daughter died. My 3-year-old daughter died in an accident, and I lost all my faith, and I hated God, and I wanted to commit suicide. And one day, randomly, one of your songs pops up on a random playlist. When I listened to that song, he was like, I can't explain to you, but I knew that God was real, and I knew that God was good.
Come on.
And he's like, and I fell to my knees, and I just knew that God was good, and I understood that my daughter dying was part of his will. Dude, there's nothing that you can do to sit down here in the studio and be like, yo, God, I want to write a banger so that when someone's daughter passes away, that's how you know we are just, bro, as cliche and as Christianese as it sounds, we're just vessels, bro. Like that's all we are. And you know, some people do it at a higher reach, others do it at less reach, but at the end of the day, it's like God is glorified, and that's how you know that none of it depends on us. None of it, bro.
Yeah, it's difficult because I feel like nowadays the reach is like a very hyper focused aspect of it. And I understand why, because I feel like every day a new person is being able to catch a viral trend, or they have a song kind of pop up. I've been a person that has had that happen to him multiple times. And so it's the dehumanization of like what that statistics are actually supposed to be representing, because we often look at like we need more numbers. Each one is a person. Each one is a person made in God's image.
Yeah.
So it's just like a constant internal battle where you're like, dang, I need to keep reminding myself of this aspect. So whether you only have, whether you're creating music or you're doing something artistic or you're doing anything, honestly, in terms of serving or just reaching, whether it's one person, 10 person, 100 people, 1,000 people, each person, you know, God places in your life for a very specific reason, you know, and you have to be faithful with every. You can't be just discouraged by the fact that you don't have the same amount of clout as a Forrest Frank or whatever, you know, because we're all in different positions to serve.
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting too, as like, especially as people trying to like make this a career, to get a large enough reach that we are able to pay our bills and support our families on this. It's really, really difficult not to chase those vanity metrics, not to just go after the numbers, because in your head, at least, a higher reach means more money in the bank account, but that's not always the case. And I think it's really easy sometimes, at least for myself, to get really caught up in chasing engagement and chasing like that dopamine rush of people commenting on your post or engaging with the content that you've made. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think it's really difficult and really important to remember that, one, if you have 1,000 monthly listeners, think about that many people in a room listening to your music all at once. That's massive. Two, those are people made in the image of God that like a lot of artists don't stop to think about. These are whole beings that have an entire life outside of just listening to their music.
Bro, that like the experience of performing for the first time ever really helped put that into reality, because I think for the first show that we had that was down in Houston, where it was myself, Afterthought, OFC, and Johnny Goes Hard, we had maybe, I think, 100, 150 people in one room, which is a lot. That's like,
that's a big show.
Yeah.
If you were to put that on like paper, like on Instagram or something, 150 likes, I'm like, whatever. Bro, rowdy, loud, nuts. And I, by the grace of God, I was able to like meet like more than half of them, handshake, pray, just like hear the testimonies, man. And like, what an encouragement, bro. So I agree with y'all like wholeheartedly. It's just so humbling to see how God helps bring that reality to you more and more.
Yeah. Max, you had some other questions?
Yeah. So as far as your creative process, I'd be interested to know, do you feel like when a song comes to you, you're actively trying to write, or you're actively trying to come up with something, or do you feel like it's like dropped on you by the Holy Spirit? Because I've had both happen.
I actively hate myself and then bash my head on a wall for a couple of hours. No, I always feel like the creative process is it changes up so frequently, and it's stunning to really experience that, especially at this stage of life creatively. Because I've been making music, like not even performing. I've been making music for like 10. Oh gosh, actually, how old I am. I've been making music for about 12 years now. getting old.
Yo, chill. Yo, chill.
Oh, right, because I just learned his age, and I know your age. But no, just to see how God constantly inspires me, and how He also puts people in my life to inspire me, and then, or the seasons where I have to really grit my teeth and grind something out. It varies so much. I will say this though. Consistency is always key in aspects of that, because if you're not ready to handle something when it gets put into your hands to work with, you're not going to be ready. It's sort of like if you're not preparing yourself to like play ball, you're not going to catch it when it gets thrown to you. You know. So
cool. You had a question?
Yeah, I was curious how much of so I know that you have to make content to promote your music. I'm curious how much of when you're making a beat is actually done with your machine, with your MIDI controller, and how much of it is done with like programming or drawing stuff in on the piano roll.
Oh gosh. So this is confessions. Everything is typically made by the time I'm making a video. So I don't ever make anything live. I do try to know that I do try to drum everything as possible.
Yeah.
So like I don't fake it. Like,
yeah, I mean,
if I have I'm able to keep the hi-hat, the kick and the snare perfectly fine, but it's just like there's certain times where I'm fudging it a little bit.
I mean, I honestly wouldn't expect you to play that while you have to edit and cut all those other things, in my opinion. Yeah.
If I ever am on like a keyboard though, that typically is done live. Like I will try to match that like 1-to-1, if not. Because as someone with a piano background, I kind of feel like I'm doing myself a disservice there.
We might have to get you on the keys on one of our songs.
Don't say that, bro. I've been staring at the Juno and stuff behind you this entire time.
You just like turn it on for you real quick.
I mean, we got something going on in October. I don't know, Chris, how much you want to speak on that, but we do have something going on in October.
Yeah, we're recording a live session of the album, 7 songs, and we're gonna record them here in a 1970s mid-century modern home that has a yellow carpet, like the Tame Impala,
MCM?
like that Tame Impala house with the big windows that. So this it's like that, like one of those houses with the lake in the back.
Amazing.
So we're gonna start recording around like before sunset. So as we record the songs, the lighting starts changing. So we actually don't have a keyboard player for that live session. So we'll see.
That's freaking gnarly.
You might need 2 more coffees before you're convinced.
This is how this was the real reason why you guys took me out here. Wasn't to interview me at all.
Just so you know, we called your mom and we were like, well,
no.
We called your mom. How good is this guy at piano? Okay, how do we woo him?
No, she Mom, if you're watching this, please don't please don't, because she will try to talk me up. Like, oh, he's really good, please, by the grace of God, this is why God brought you guys here together. So please, no, please, I haven't played professional like that in years.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
But Eluzai, you had a question, right?
I did.
Yeah, you said before you said you had a question of how we were introduced to something.
Oh yeah. I am very curious because I know Max was talking about it a little bit, but like, what is your guys' general like introduction to CHH Christian hip hop scene? Because I know a lot of folks tend to get
Rehab by Lecrae.
Oh
when
my
I was like
gosh.
a little kid in youth group.
Wow. So you got that live. Like you not like going back. That's crazy.
I just want to say I got that live too. But I'm all the way back to cross movement. That's how old I am.
Cross movement?
The cross movement is so fire.
Yes. Yeah. So
as in like House of Representatives cross movement?
Yeah. So I just don't. I don't want to tell people how old I am, but I think I just did.
Wow. Okay. So
dude, Holy Culture is like a top 10 albums of all time for me. That's like, bro. That's like Dilla, but if he was doing CHH, it's so good.
So one of the things that I love is there's actually quite a rich history with CHH Christian hip hop. I've been able to witness a lot of it because I initially got introduced to it during the early 10s. So this was when Lecrae was just dropping the Church Clothes mixtapes. when Humble Beast was still like a very active like label, and just being able to witness all of that stuff, like the oh gosh, this was when Andy Mineo was first popping off with Neverland. Oh my gosh.
Oh, he popped up before Neverland. I was there.
Oh, Sea Light era.
It's and a little bit after that, but yeah.
Oh man, but I'll date myself. But I will say, I think one of the coolest things is that CHH has always had outliers of like incredible work. And I gratefully have been a witness to that history, and I think a lot of that has affected how I created. Like for instance, if it weren't for folks like Andy Mineo, Jay Givens, John Gives, shout out to Cortland Urbano and everybody from the Humble Beast side. It's just like those guys have been such a big inspiration, and even the modern stuff. I mean, like, yo, I will gladly talk up like my buddies Afterthought, OFC, my buddy Abel in Philly, as well as everyone from like Indie Tribe and there's so much.
There's so much, and dude,
it's so good.
Dude, and this kid that just blew up, DC3, I think. Yeah, dude, that kid's insane. Like,
bro, it's like it's insane. Constant. It's like, yo, we live in such a cool era where it's like, it's not just like we're Christian alternatives now to like regular hip hop. It's just like we just make good hip hop, and we love God, and we combine the two, and that's it. And we don't need to like do anything else. It's freaking sick.
Yeah. What a time to be alive.
Amen, bro.
As far as Max and I, we're in a different world. Obviously, we're in like the indie, but what we believe is like, I hate saying true indie because we talk about like what is even indie, right?
Yeah.
So
is it a genre? Is it like a genre? Status as far as label?
Is it a vibe? Like, what is it? But like for the longest time, the Christian indie scene, right, has been a lot of like indie worship artists, and then a lot of like indie folk artists. But like the music that we try to make, like we don't really know a lot of other like Christian artists that kind of make that kind of stuff. So we definitely know that there are some coming up. Like Jordan is really cool. There's a bunch of other artists that are, kind of, we feel a little bit more like, oh, dude, this is like this little group of people that are making this vibe. So hopefully, we'll see more artists come up with that.
Without getting too caught in the pipeline, because I love talking about like different artists and stuff. So I'm trying to withhold myself because, we obviously have a time constraint. But I think stuff when it comes to like the label indie as well as underground, which is something that I've had to, really think about because that is also a label I put on my music. It's not just a specific sound. It really is, I guess, really just a goal or a mindset that you also attach to your music, which I think it's kind of cool that we get to explore that aspect of life through a faithful lens.
I think it's really, really cool that there are people doing stuff for the mainstream in the Christian industry, in the Christian music world. But I also think that it's really, really cool to see artists like yourself and other people in your wheelhouse popping up, because there are so many people in those walks of life, in those subcultures, who need Jesus just as much as the people who mainstream music appeals to. So it's really, really cool to start seeing and hearing a lot of music getting made for those people who, like Forrest Frank and Hillsong, are not appealing to.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's kind of crazy how a subgenre of a subgenre sort of acts as like different types of testimonies, because we were all called, to make disciples and to, preach the word of God. So we all have different, origins and communities and cultures that we sort of stem from. And I think that is also reflected in the type of music and, the things that we sort of gravitate towards. I mean, I don't make the type of music that I make because I'm trying to do a pastiche of like, Suicide Boys or Puya and stuff. I actually didn't grow up listening to that. That was actually something my cousins were more so crazy about. I was weird. I was weird. But I think it's more so just from a fact that we culturally have stemmed from similar places, and just because I use like the influences that other folks got influenced by, that it kind of gravitates folks towards. I don't shy. I try not to like discourage folks that say like, oh, this is like this isn't 3-6 Mafia, this is 316 Mafia or whatever. Or it's not Suicide Boys, it's Salvation Boys. I don't try to discourage that, because I think God again is speaking through through to different people in different ways, and so I just have to just keep going, no matter how it might encourage or help build up folks in their walk with Christ. I still have a specific sort of intention that I want to do going forward, but I'm just honored that I get to be a part of that. I call it soundtracking folks' life with Christ. I love to be a part of that sort of that whole thing.
Yeah, I would say, like, I remember growing up, I could listen to Hillsong, could listen to Michael W. Smith. Growing up as a Christian teenager, whenever I felt holy enough to listen to that. But one of the things that inspired me to write the type of music that we write and that OM has been writing for a while lyrically was, I remember when I did not feel holy enough, whatever that meant, right, as a teenager, I could put on Under Oath, I could put on Reliant K, I could put on Switchfoot, I could put on all these artists that I knew loved the Lord, right? And that their songs like I could like resonate with. And they did that for me. They were soundtracking my life, right? And being able to make music for people that soundtracks their life is a privilege. That's really what it is.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, it at the end of the day, this is also like an art. This is a type of genre, and so like I love to explore, to combine and like create unique things, and I don't want to just be pigeonholed in one type of fashion. So I'm so happy. This is the coolest era to do this kind of stuff, man, because there's visual elements that I love combining, the sound elements I love combining, and we get to all do for the Lord. And
nobody telling you that you can't, right?
Yeah.
Because you are fully independent distro kid, right? Like fully.
Yes. Shout out to being independent, bro. No label, no nothing.
Nothing wrong with labels, because we got some buddies that have labels and are doing things with labels. So no shade. But it just, there's something so freeing about being independent.
Owning your masters, I think honestly, I want to keep it that way. And I have worked with other like labels and stuff to like help with like publishing and stuff like that. Honestly, shout out to Reach. They shout out to Logan and folks on that end. They've helped me in a myriad of ways. I actually ended up, that was part of the lo-fi era. I ended up working with them for a slight moment, but no, there's a place for the label. It's just being wise with whoever you're going with and just different aspects of how people create. Yeah,
for us, when we write our projects, if you listen through them, they're all very different. Every EP, every album is different in vibe, because we create what in that moment we're enjoying. So like, I enjoy listening to this. I want to make this right now. That could be detrimental for some people because of their fans. They could be like, oh yeah, but like, I liked the old OM, or I liked the old Eluzai. Like, why isn't he making that again? So we've lost some fans, but we've gained a lot new ones. And then we've seen the ones that have stuck out through the whole time. Do you foresee yourself making something like completely different in your next album or 2 albums down the line? Or do you think it's going to stay pretty much in the same place?
Oh, I'm definitely going to be developing more and more as the time goes on. I will say this. My plan was not just to immediately ditch this sound after St. John. I do want to explore it more. But part of my process creatively is I enjoy to like add on and experiment and just make things more dynamic. I think that's a really good explanation to like a lot of my production choices. And so I as someone that has been a victim of like I miss the old Eluzai because I've already been through that. I left the lo-fi culture.
Yeah.
I'm not terribly bothered by it, and I know that the folks that really enjoy the aspects and the creativity that I sort of do, I know that, you know, there's going to be like a thought process that folks can kind of help lead them as they go along.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely not going to go avant-garde art
Yeah.
art pop or anything like that. I'm not going to switch up to a new metal band. Though shout out to Body Wash.
No butt rock, nothing.
Hey. Arms wide open.
Hey, I can rock some Creed sometimes.
Sometimes, all the time. Dude, karaoke all the time, dude.
Welcome to this place. We'll get a DMCA.
With arms wide open.
Oh, man. But yeah.
Dude, so what do you got going on right now? Where are you going in the next week or something like that? What's going on right now?
Well, right now, obviously the album has dropped, St. Jawn. And so I'm going to be touring with Afterthought and OFC, as well as Lazarus and Johnny Goes Hard for the SOG tour. So we're going to be hitting up San Antonio, Houston, Dallas, and then Atlanta. And hopefully
Kansas.
No Kansas. No, bro, not yet.
Nobody comes to Jersey. But you know why? Christian artists don't come to Jersey because like people aren't like Christians here. Like we have this conversation that there's no Christian like scene here, bro, at all.
Let's go further. No one goes to the Northeast unless it's New York.
Yeah.
And even then it's like up in the air.
Yeah, legit. Nobody comes here.
Bro, I saw, and this isn't like a diss, but I won't say any names, but I saw a very large artist just drop their tour scheduling. The closest that they have to the Northeast is, I think, like Columbus, Ohio.
Dang.
Yeah, exactly.
Whack.
Yeah. No one. And it's hard. It's difficult. Like I've tried to, like I've been trying to find a way to kind of have something pop off in Philly, my city.
Yeah.
And it being difficult. So it's them's the breaks. But I think it makes sense because obviously, you know, our music is faith-based. And a lot of the culture that is around
is in the
here,
Bible Belt.
We're in
the Bible Belt is where it is.
Kansas,
that's where people go touring.
Bro.
That's where people go touring, dude.
I mean, you ain't wrong. You are not wrong. But yeah, no, it's just like we don't want to. We love being able to perform in underground venues. That's actually our first decision. We always want to perform in an underground venue, but we don't ever want to perform somewhere where it's like obviously glorifying, you know, drinking and you know, like stuff that, you know, obviously is countering what we're trying to promote, you know, in Christ. Yeah,
dude, for us it was such a crazy thing because 90% of our shows were secular shows at bars, like big or small basements where we were just playing with secular artists, and people knew we were Christian and welcomed us because of how just normal people we were, right? Like most of our ministry happened in the back rooms, right? And so it was really dope. So when we played a Christian show, it was cool, but it was also very different. We knew that our ministry was something different. I'm curious to like, I don't know if you've played like youth group events, a lot of them, or like Max and I always talk about that, like how like the CHH artists, like there's this like, I don't know, like heads or tails type of thing where like,
it's kind of like a whole nother conversation where it's like a lot of Christian rappers try to come off hard. They try to look a certain way. They really present a very specific, intentional side of their own image.
And then they flex that they like sold out these events, but these events are like youth groups that their parents brought the kids to. They're like, yo, this place was packed tonight. Like, and okay, like that's fine. It was, but like, for us, like, and it's not even like a jab at it. For us, it's, I remember we played this humongous like youth event and it was packed. And I don't know if it was pride or what it was in me that it made me feel, I was like, man, like this doesn't feel good. This doesn't feel real. Like our art did not pack this place. It was God, and God wanted us there to minister to those kids. Right. And I was grateful for that. But as an artist, right? And as an artist, like I felt, well, I was like, man, they didn't really come here because they knew like OM. They came here because we were the guest band at a youth event.
It's the difference between affirmation and evangelizing, I feel, because one of the things that I learned from Afterthought was his goal was never to immediately book churches. It was underground venues. And it was such a surreal thing because I have been to like Christian shows, and I think that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
If you want to perform at a church, do a youth group event, you know, that's just how it is. And you know, that circuit is the intro to a lot of Christian artists. I mean, that's what you have to do. But when I started doing shows with AF and O and all of them, complete underground venue, I'm surprised we even got it. And I'm like, yo, this is kind of nuts. We had what's like a black metal, like rage punk sort of event also going outside in the parking lot. That was nuts. And there was folks kind of teetering in that were drunk that were looking at us like, what's going on? And I'm just like, it's such a shock because at the end of it, he ended up doing an altar call, right? And then I finally got to see like what it was all about because we were inviting folks that are like, this is not something that we see, you know, but you know, God called us to reach out into those sort of places. And so I think it's just, you know, different place for different functions, you know, but I do definitely agree with you that there are sort of vibes and things that folks will tend to posture online. And then when it comes to jumping, you kind of get a different vibe. Yeah. You know, and that it is what it is.
It is what it is, yeah. Dude, we definitely will need a part 2 of this interview. Like for sure. I think we have so much to talk about as far as gear, faith, theology, if you want to get down, right? Your KGV until you turn into what?
Oh dang.
I'm at ESV. I'm at ES. I think I'm staying at ESV. No NIV here.
NLT is cool if for the
NLT
audio.
NLT represent, bro.
I do NLT.
I have both, but to me ESV is the most accurate.
I kind of like AMP sometimes.
AMP. The thing about AMP, bro, they're throwing a little interpretation in there that I'm like, I don't know, you guys might be it's like might be pushing it a little bit here.
It's like the Taco Bell of Bibles. Like it's a lot, but you know, it's like
it makes your belly hurt a little bit.
Maybe I want a lot, you know. Maybe throw some fire sauce on.
I don't know. Maybe I want to watch it Chosen too, you know.
Bible Supreme. But yeah, no. I this is very enjoyable. I definitely want to come back out here.
Yeah, I think this was awesome. Oh, go ahead.
I've got two closing questions.
Shoot.
And then I'll leave you the heck alone. I see the MF Doom ring, so I named my cat Doomale after Daniel Doomale, MF Doom.
Hey.
So I want to know, what is your favorite Doom record? And then 2, which is your favorite Kingdom Hearts title? Because I love all of the Kingdom Hearts reference in the visual stuff and the branding.
I'm not coming back. That's too no. So like record, like song or album?
I would say album. Album is a fair ask.
If you asked me a couple years ago, it would still be Mad Villainy. However, I just love like how digestible food is. I think it's a great record, and while Mad Villainy is obviously like the superior record, Food just like sonically is more pleasing to the ears, especially if you're trying to introduce somebody to it.
It's more off the wall than Mad Villainy.
Yeah, especially like in the middle where you get like this 3-song interlude of literally just like Doom just showing how awesome he is production wise, and then like weaving samples back and forth. But yeah, it's probably Food. I mean, I bought the cereal box with the bowl in it, so I kind of have to.
Sick.
I kind of have to say it. Favorite Kingdom Hearts game or reference? You said.
Favorite Kingdom Hearts game.
It's gonna zoom in on my face. I can feel it. Yeah, it's gonna be basic 2. It's 2. Let's be real. It has to be 2. I actually haven't played 3. I think I own it. I have not played it because I bought not 1 but 2 different versions of the HD re-releases of all the games. Yep. And you kind of get like paralysis by looking at all of this. Like I have to dig through this and I have to play through this. And how many Xehanorts are there? And what do you mean this is not Sora? And what is this? And that's not Riku. It's like
Kingdom Hearts 3 was like, it was kind of a doo-doo story until they added the Remind DLC years later, which I still haven't played the Remind DLC.
You don't have to. You know, that's the nice thing. I learned that a lot of it, you don't have to. You can play 50 hours of gameplay for all these side plots, or you can watch a 30-minute YouTube video.
Yep.
So it really depends on how employed you are and if your wife's in the room or not. I
think my favorite is Dream Drop Distance with I don't know, something about the level design and I forget what it was called. The flow motion gameplay was super cool in that one. And 358 Days Over 2 is probably second, just because that was my intro to the series as a kid, which was a terrible intro story wise. And there's like, I don't know, there's like a very well written, emotionally connective story in that one.
I honestly, for the next episode, I could talk like literally an hour about underground and like 90s and 2000s influences and also video game influences and how that has affected my music. Because you have, bro, literally,
we'll do it.
Please.
We'll do it. All right, man. So where can our audience, right, the people that don't know you or have been living under a rock that have no idea who you are, where can they find you, your handle, all that good stuff, and then we'll get to say goodbye to everyone.
If you're interested into listening to my music, I go by Eluzai. If you want to find my handle, it's _Eluzai, Eluzai. I'm on every major streaming platform, so Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Deezer for some reason,
Napster, which they're back
apparently. Also Bandcamp if you just want to pay and download for stuff. But I'm everywhere. If you want to visit me on Instagram or TikTok, I also post videos and I try to make cool visuals with a whole bunch of retro gear. Just find me online. We even have a Discord if you want to check that out as well.
Dope. Well, Eluzai, thank you so much for being here. Max, you're the man. See you. And God bless you all.
God bless you all.
Peace.
Great talking with y'all.